The golden sun rose over the vast Kalahari Reserve in Botswana, painting the savanna in soft hues of orange and gold. Daniel, a young and passionate wildlife ranger, prepared for his daily patrol with a heart full of purpose. Since childhood, he had dreamed of protecting the wild, ensuring that nature's most majestic creatures roamed free. Today felt different. As he checked his vehicle, stocked up on medical supplies, and adjusted his radio, a quiet sense of anticipation stirred within him. His job was to monitor wildlife, track movements, and keep poachers at bay. But little did he know, this patrol would change his life forever. As he drove deeper into the wilderness, he noticed something unusual in the distance, a small bloodstain on the dry grass. His pulse quickened. What had happened here? What awaited him beyond those towering acacia trees? Stay with me, because this is just the beginning of an unforgettable journey. As Daniel stepped out of his vehicle, a gentle breeze whispered through the Kalahari grasslands, but the sight before him sent a chill down his spine. Blood. A faint trail of crimson droplets soaked into the dry earth, leading deeper into the wilderness. Something was wrong. His heart pounded as he moved cautiously, his trained eyes scanning the landscape for signs of movement. Then, he saw it. Amidst the tall grass, a massive shape lay motionless, a lion, its golden fur stained with dried blood, tangled in coils of razor-sharp barbed wire. Daniel's breath hitched. The king of the savanna, a creature of power and grace, now lay helpless before him. The lion's chest rose and fell in labored breaths. Its eyes, once fierce and commanding, held only pain and exhaustion. This was no accident. Someone had done this, and Daniel knew he was the only one who could save him. Daniel's pulse raced as he edged closer. The lion's golden mane, once majestic, was matted with blood, its powerful body trapped in cruel coils of barbed wire. The beast should have roared, should have fought, but it didn't. Instead, its amber eyes met his, not with rage, but with a silent plea. The wilderness held its breath. Daniel knew the risks. One wrong move, and the wounded predator could lash out in fear, but he also knew the truth. If he didn't act, this lion wouldn't survive. With slow, deliberate movements, he knelt beside the fallen king, whispering calming words as he reached for his tools. The first cut of the pliers sent a shock through his veins. This was it. The metal resisted, sharp and unforgiving. Every second counted. The lion groaned in pain, muscles twitching. Would it trust him? Would it let him finish? Or would this rescue turn into a deadly mistake? The air was thick with tension as Daniel's hands trembled over the barbed wire. Each strand was twisted tightly, cutting deep into the lion's flesh. With every careful snip of his pliers, the wounded beast flinched, letting out a low, guttural growl. Would it attack? His heart pounded, but he couldn't stop now. Sweat trickled down his brow as he worked, his breath shallow, every movement a delicate balance between courage and survival. The lion's amber eyes burned into him, not with rage, but with something deeper. A test, a fragile thread of trust. Daniel exhaled slowly, his fingers steady. Then, snap. The final wire fell away. Freedom. The lion shuddered, its massive body trembling from exhaustion. Would it see him as an ally? Or would instinct take over? Daniel took a cautious step back, holding his breath. And then, the lion did something that left him frozen in disbelief. For a brief, heart-stopping moment, time stood still. The lion, now free from the cruel grasp of the barbed wire, slowly lifted its head. Daniel's breath hitched. This was the moment of truth. Would the wounded predator see him as a savior or as a threat? The beast's muscles tensed, its massive paws pressing against the earth as it tried to rise. Daniel didn't move. His instinct screamed at him to step back, to retreat, but something in the lion's golden eyes held him there, an understanding, a silent acknowledgement. The king of the savanna let out a slow, tired exhale, blinking heavily, as if realizing for the first time that the battle was over. But the fight for survival wasn't. The wounds were deep, the blood loss severe. If Daniel didn't act fast, the lion wouldn't last the night. He reached for his radio, knowing there was no time to waste. Would help arrive in time? The roar of an approaching vehicle echoed through the savanna. Help had arrived. But was it too late? The lion lay still, its once mighty body weakened by pain and exhaustion. Daniel refused to give up. As the veterinarians leaped from the truck, he stayed by the lion's side, whispering words it likely didn't understand. But somehow, it seemed to listen. The king of the wild had trusted him once. Could it trust him again? The team worked quickly, administering antibiotics, disinfecting wounds, and wrapping the deepest gashes. The lion's eyes flickered open, its breath growing steadier. It was fighting to live. As Daniel stood, wiping sweat from his brow, he saw something that made his heart race. The lion's gaze locked onto his, filled not with fear or anger, but something far more powerful: recognition, trust. Days turned into weeks, and the lion's wounds slowly healed. Daniel visited every day, standing at the edge of the recovery enclosure, watching the king of the wild regain his strength. The moment of release finally arrived. The gates swung open, and the lion, free at last, stepped onto the golden plains. For a moment, it hesitated, turning back to meet Daniel's gaze one last time. A silent farewell, a bond beyond words. Then, with a powerful stride, the lion disappeared into the vast wilderness, reclaiming its kingdom. Daniel exhaled, feeling both relief and an unexpected ache in his chest. He had saved a life, but would they ever cross paths again? He convinced himself the answer was no. The wild was unpredictable, but fate had other plans. Because one day, when Daniel least expected it, the lion would return, and what it did next would leave him speechless. Months passed, and Daniel resumed his patrols, his bond with the lion becoming a distant yet unforgettable memory. But fate had not forgotten. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in fiery hues, he felt it, a presence watching him. His heart pounded as he turned toward the distant hills. There, standing tall against the golden horizon, was the lion. No longer weak, no longer wounded, but strong, powerful, and free. Daniel stood frozen as the great beast took a step forward, then another. It wasn't a chance encounter. The lion had come back. But then, something even more unbelievable happened. The mighty predator lifted a massive paw and pressed it against the bark of a nearby tree, leaving a deep imprint, a silent mark of remembrance. Daniel swallowed hard. It was his way of saying thank you. Time passed, but the memory of that moment never faded. Daniel often glanced toward the horizon, wondering if the lion would return again. Their paths had crossed in an impossible way, two souls from different worlds, bound by trust, courage, and fate. The tree where the lion had left its mark became a symbol of their story, a reminder that kindness could transcend even the wildest of instincts. Rangers and visitors alike spoke of the incredible bond, passing the tale from one generation to the next. But this was more than just a story. It was a legacy, a testament to the rare moments when man and nature become one. And so, whenever Daniel walked the Golden Plains, he carried a quiet certainty. He was never truly alone. Because somewhere in the vast wilderness, the king of the savanna still watched over him. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More unforgettable tales await.